Hi guys, it's me, Trudy Lee. How's everybody doing? I'm doing pretty well. I have Addie Cat here. I don't know if you can see her right there. She's playing with her little tunnel. She just loves it so much. She's just chasing her little, she puts her little mouse in there and chases after it and goes back and forth, entertaining herself. So I'm doing good because it's 65 degrees today. This light is kind of too bright. This camera, I can just keeps adjusting itself. So 65 degrees, but it is raining a little bit, so we can't really enjoy the warm weather except for we don't need the heat on. But it's so much better than being in the teens. Oh my gosh, it was so cold. We had to take off our wool blanket. It got so hot last night. I was just like, I couldn't take it anymore. It was really hot. But I'm so glad. I just wish it would stay 65 all the time, and then maybe in the spring heat up a little bit in the daytime. Not more than 80, though. 80 is my limit. Anyway, so I'm still on keto, and last night I decided, I'm trying to make food that everybody will like because I don't want to have to make me something and then them something else, although I do have to do that. I just saw something fly by. Did y'all catch that? I don't know. That was weird. There's not anything flying in my room that I know of. But I have been doing, talking to spirit and everything. So it could be my spirit guide still around here. Okay, back to my diet, my keto diet. It's going good. I'm feeling like I'm losing inches. I feel like my skin's tightening up, especially on my abdomen. So it's very nice. When I'm laying in the bed, I'm always like, how much can I pinch now? It's a lot more than an inch, that's for sure. Remember, you can pinch an inch, then you're overweight. Well, I decided to make blackened fish and blackened shrimp. And I've never made that before. And there's a whole lot of us. So both of my grandkids are here. My daughter, she wouldn't eat it. One daughter, she would eat it, but the boy's mama, she won't eat any kind of seafood. She will not touch it. But my husband would eat it. I would eat it, and I thought, okay, I can do that. I can make them some, fried potatoes. And what I do is I pre-cook them in the microwave, and then I fry them up with the skins on them with onion and olive oil. So try to make them as healthy as possible, not like deep fry them or anything. They're very good, but I don't eat the potatoes. And I made some broccoli. So I had broccoli and fish and shrimp. And I made a little lemon butter sauce to go with it to dip it in. It was really good. Oh my gosh, y'all, have you ever made blackened fish? My whole house was smoke filled. I mean, you couldn't hardly see. It was terrible. I mean, terrible. I had read that if you can cook it outside, but I was like, I can't cook it outside. I don't have, I should have figured out something. And I do have a gas grill that has a little, burner on it, and I should have done that. I will never make blackened. It was good, but I will never do it again. I mean, the whole house was smoked up, really, really smoked up. And my husband opened all the doors, all the windows. He brought out the fans that we usually have in the summertime. He put out, strategically placed the fans everywhere, got it blowing all out. He did get it cleaned out pretty fast, thank goodness, because I mean, it was so smoky. I'm surprised the smoke detector didn't go off. It never did go off, but he was standing in the foyer. I told him, do not let that dog get by you. Don't let him out. Don't let him run out. But of course, that dog outmaneuvered him. 125-pound dog. He wants to hit the door and go. The door's wide open. He did. He just ran off. So the other dog followed him. The smaller dog, Kai. The Turk is the big one. And he doesn't listen to anything or anyone except for my daughter. And she wasn't at home, of course. So he hightailed it, and Kai will go chase after him, and then she'll come back like 5 minutes later. She's like, I'm done. I'm home. She's a good girl. She listens. But she's a people pleaser. She's a border collie golden retriever. And Turk is Anatolian Shepherd, and he's like, I'm the boss. I do whatever the hell I want. I'm 125 pounds, and if I want to run, I'll run. So, yeah. Anyway, my daughter was nearby doing some haircuts for somebody, and I just texted her, and she came home, and he came right to her, you know. But of course, it's been raining, so he was all muddy and everything. But she had to take him in the shower and wash him off. That was her problem. So yeah, if you're gonna make blackened fish, you should do it outside. Learn the hard way. So listen to my experience. There's Eddie Cat, and do it outside. Don't do it in your house. Oh, and the fan above my stove, it wasn't working. I don't know what's wrong with it. I tried to turn it on and it wouldn't work. So yeah, it was real smoky. It was terrible. Then the neighbors started calling us and complaining, saying your dog is loose and he's barking, and and it was 10 o'clock at night by the time they started calling and complaining. So yeah, I understand. I mean, he was out there for a little while because we couldn't catch him. Burnt myself. That wasn't. This was a few days ago. I burned myself. I was making. This was so good. I made stuffed bell pepper keto style. They they were so delicious, and I was taking it out, and it almost fell. I almost dropped it in the oven. I was doing it with one hand, and it was heavier than I thought, and I almost dropped it. And when I did, I touched the oven with the back of my hand. So, and this was almost 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago or so. Anyway, so it burned off a few layers of skin. So, yeah, use two hands when you're taking a pan out of the oven. All right, so I'm doing a little bit different protocol on this keto diet. I am trying to do intermittent fasting, but I'm taking some different supplements too. So I've kind of amped it up on the supplements. I watched this Dr. David Sinclair, I think what his name was, and he has a longevity protocol, I guess you would call it, and he doesn't say take these supplements. He tells you what he's taking and what his father's taking, and he's like 54 years old. But go look at him, go Google him, or go on YouTube and find Dr. David Sinclair. He looks like he's in his 30s. He looks so young, and he's 54 years old. And his father is 84 years old. And I understand that his father didn't start this protocol until he was in his 70s, and he already had some bad health issues. But he's kind of recovered, and he's doing really well. He's opened a new business. He's very athletic, and he's looking forward to turning 100. So I'm on my next video, I'll share with y'all what I'm doing, what supplements I'm taking. And I also just got an electric gua sha. I don't know if you've seen those gua shas that you I should have brought it here, but it's an electric one, and it has a red light on it, has a blue light, and you put a little bit of oil or lotion on your face, and you use it. And I've been using that for 3 or 4 days, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'm trying to turn back the clock as quickly as I can. But nothing's really working great, but I'm trying, all right? And then we have what's going on in politics. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So Nikki Haley is and Donald Trump in New Hampshire today. I guess Trump has successfully put off all his trials one way or the other. He does all kinds of sneaky things, but they work for him, so he's rewarded by his efforts. And, Nikki Haley is a very articulate and very smart lady. Remember when she was in Trump's cabinet, and then she was like, I'm going to resign now and get ready to be president. So, and the thing about Nikki Haley is she hasn't really, gone up against Trump. She hasn't really trashed him like DeSantis did. He started doing that, and then he went down really quick. So I guess she learned her lesson, and she's tiptoeing around, trying not to piss off his base because she wants them to come to mama and, vote for me. Well, because Trump's going to go to jail, and I'm going to have to step up to be the nominee, But it looks like Trump has successfully put his trials on pause until after the election. I mean, they may get started again, but they won't end till after the election. So we probably won't get any verdict or anything like that till after the election on the criminal trials, anyway. He just knows how to put a cog in the system. He knows how to do it. And that I'm sure he's telling his attorneys what to do. You know what I mean? That's why he has that Haba, like she's seems so inept because a smart, efficient attorney wouldn't listen to him, you know? So he has to kind of get somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, in my opinion, okay? And then there's Trump on the stump mixing up Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi about 4 times, you know? Y'all, I'm sure y'all all heard that. And now, finally, Nikki Haley's starting to talk about his, declining mental state and that he's getting all mixed up. And, y'all know it's true when you reach a certain age, your memory kind of goes a little bit. And when you're looking for a name, it's hard to find sometimes. And he's under a lot of stress too. And I'm not making up any excuses for him at all. I think he's out of his mind. I really do. And but you can understand that that's really a real thing. That's a real thing. He's under a lot of stress. He's on the go all the time. He's got all kinds of criminal matters to deal with, trials and everything, going from one place to another, giving stump speeches, and you know, but the difference between you and me and him is when you forget a name, you're like, what was her name? You remember who I'm talking about? You know that name? And then somebody will give you that name. So if Trump would have said, so and so, she was planning January 6th, and somebody would have said Nancy Pelosi. But no, he had to be stupid and insert a name in there, Nikki Haley. So that's the difference between Trump and us, is because he never admits failure. He never admits when he makes a mistake. He would never admit that I don't remember a name correctly. You know what I mean? And it's all normal. It's normal part of aging. And I think he's 77 years old, right? I'm 61, and I already think, me and my husband are watching TV, and we're like, what's that actor's name? You know his name? He played on so-and-so. What's his name? And we can't think of it, We're like, oh, we get so we get so aggravated that our memories are going. That's why I'm taking all these supplements to help with memories. But, Trump, he just keeps babbling like I'm doing now. And, he forgets what he's saying. Just watch him. Watch him, and he's babbling and ranting. And all of a sudden, he just stops and like, what the hell was I talking about? That shit happens too, And he's just like, but if you are going to lead the United States, if you're going to be the president, you can't have these problems. You can't have this, declining mental state. You can't have that. Now we understand that it's all part of growing old, but we don't want our president to, have dementia. So, another thing about Trump is, when he's on the stump and when he's at his rallies, he's talking about is vendettas. I'm going to get them. They're going to, that they did this to me, they did that to me, they stole the vote, that, all these things. He never says anything good that he's going to produce for the country. He never says how or, what he's going to do at all. When he was in office, remember he kept saying that when he was going to be elected the last time in 2016, that he was going to replace Obamacare with some new improved health care, better than Obamacare, and then there was nothing. And they had all this time to do it, and they did nothing at all. At least Nikki Haley, she explains what is needed for the country and what she'll do to, get that done. So she's better and more articulate than he is, for sure. Not that I'm voting for her or anything. I'm not. I'm a Democrat and I am going to vote for Biden, even though he's old too, but he's a much better pick than having a Republican in office, in my opinion. Okay? So I asked Spirit about Nikki Haley going to New Hampshire. She's there today. And I pulled a few cards, as you know, I just asked a few questions, pulled a few cards, laid them out. I've got them all right here to read to you. But this is the first card that I pulled. And this is about, this is weird. So she got the death card going to New Hampshire. So it looks like to me this is the beginning of the end for her. So that's what the death card is. Death card doesn't mean she's going to die or anything like that, but could be the death of her campaign. So I feel like that's what it is. It's the beginning of the end. So how is Donald Trump going to do in New Hampshire? You know, they already said he's going to do really good. Everybody's saying he's going to do great. And I pulled this card, the star card. So that's the, you know, that's the star of hope. So I do believe he's going to do very well. And then with DeSantis pulling out, it's kind of giving him a little more hope. You know what I mean? I've got one down, now one to go. So this has kind of fortified him with hope. And then his trials are on pause too. So that's fortified him too. So he's just like, I'm stoked up. Everything's going my way. I'm going to get rid of all this, you know, trials when I'm president. I'll be ahead of the DOJ and I'll get rid of everything. So I feel like he's just feeling very, very hopeful. So yeah. And, you know, the Supreme Court made a ruling. They ruled 5-4 for the federal government on the border here in Texas for Abbott to take down those razor wires. You know, it was so sad. I know y'all have heard about it and everything, that a woman and her 2 children drowned going across, you know, trying to cross in this cold weather. I can't believe anybody would try to cross the river with 2 children in the freezing cold. Maybe she was expecting, and they probably told her, because it's probably happened many times, they'll come with the boat, they'll pick you up. If they see you going out in the water, they'll come and get you. And that's probably happened in the past, but now that they have the razor wire and, you know, the Border Patrol's no longer there, it's the National Guard. The National Guard just let them drown. It's so sad. So on Abbott's watch, we lost a little family. God bless them. So, you know, of course, the states have to listen to the federal government. Doesn't that make sense? That Texas isn't a country on its own. We are, you know, we are all the United States. We would have civil war if this, you know, this country would be in chaos if the federal government wasn't listened to, you know? Why did we have to separate, you know, Roe versus Wade? Why did they say, let's give it all to the states? You know, why did they do that? You know, Abbott is just willing to sacrifice children and families just so he can get the word out that, hey, don't come here to the border. You could drown. You could die. We ain't going to help you. And he just, you know, it was like, I'm sacrificing this family. I'm going to, you know, I'm sure he wasn't right there on the border making that decision, but he's told them, you know, what to do, basically. And I can't understand how they could let that happen. Could you stand there and watch some children and a mother drowned? Well, you shouldn't have gotten in the water, lady. What's wrong with people? Where's the compassion? Where is the compassion? Definitely, we have a problem at the border. We have an immigration problem. But we shouldn't deal with it in this manner. This is not the way that we deal with it. And Mexico has responsibility too, because they're letting all those people into Mexico and, you know, travel through to come to the U.S. borders. So, you know, we need to team up with Mexico and work with them, which is what Biden wants to do. He's trying to work more with Mexico. So, you know, there's a lot of people that are being stopped right now from coming here because Mexico is securing their borders a little more. So that's what they need to do. But, I'm going to stop ranting about the immigration because on my last video, I talked about the immigration and solutions and things that needed to be done. So I'm not going to repeat it. If you want to go watch it, go back and watch that one. But what I wanted to know is if um, Governor Abbott will be held responsible for the deaths of that family, of the two children and the mother. I saw a picture of the children. It's so sad. God bless them. It's just so tragic. And this is a card that I pulled for that. And this is the High Priestess card. So the High Priestess card, to me, this means it's yet to be revealed. So we're not supposed to know right now what's going to happen with that, but time will tell, I guess. We're not always given the answers that we're seeking. But I hope that Governor Abbott feels terrible. I hope he's having problems sleeping at night. I hope he's rethinking what he's doing at the border. I know he's trying to prevent people from coming here illegally. And I wish they wouldn't come here illegally either. I wish they would go through the normal channels. But I went through all that, how many years it takes and all the things. You're not going to be let in like that. You're not going to just walk in and they're going to say, okay, let's give you a Social Security card. It doesn't work like that. So anyway, let's take a look at Donald Trump's mental health. So, like I said before, he's slipping a lot. He's mixing up Nikki Haley and Nancy Pelosi and Obama. He thinks he's running against Obama and that he ran against Obama before. He's out of it because he's under so much pressure. And, I really feel like he is on the outs with Melania. Now, I know she was with her mother and her mother was on her deathbed during Christmas time and we didn't see pictures of her or anything, but we're not seeing her at all, we didn't see her after that or anything. So I feel like there's something going on with them. And then there was Trump at the funeral. So I don't know if you heard, I read some news reports that he was playing on his phone the whole time that Melania Trump was giving the eulogy for her mother, that he was over there on on his Truth Social, ranting and raving instead of paying attention and being there, because he was supposed to be there for his wife and, his son. Evidently, his son was very close to his grandmother. So then we see, I know y'all have all seen the video of Trump walking to Melania with her to the car, and she gets in and turns around and she says something to him. And there's some where you can see her face, and there are others where you can just see he's talking to, looks like the door. But there were a couple where you could see her face. But I was just wondering, what in the heck did she say to him? And this is what I'm getting. So this is what I'm getting. You make me sick. You make me sick. Get away from me. I think that's what she told him. She said, I wish the person that was holding the door, I wish he would tell us what she said. But that's what I'm getting. You make me sick. Get away from me. And you could see by the expression on her face, she wasn't saying anything sweet to him. But that's what I got. Melania is tired of all the chaos that follows Trump. It's permeated, I'm seeing it, it's permeated every aspect of their lives. It gets old. Can you imagine if your husband was on trial for this, on trial for that? It's got to go, I want to be president again. I'm doing this. It's always, there's something going on all the time. And it's chaotic and it's, I can understand her point of view of not wanting to be a part of that anymore. I feel like she doesn't want to deal with all the press, all the stress, all the negativity. And Trump just seems to thrive on it. He looks for it. He wants to, He wants to be in the news. He wants to have people around him listening to him all the time. And I think that's exactly the opposite of what she wants. So let's take a look at that. Melania Trump, and look at this, 10 of Swords. I think I think Trump is on the verge of a mental breakdown. You know, even though he does, he loves all the attention. He really does. He doesn't understand that there's good and bad attention. Just he wants attention. It's like a dog. I don't care if because you're giving me attention because I tore up something. You know what I mean? Maybe that's giving him a little bit too high a praise, a dog. But I pulled this Ten of Swords, and he's exhausted physically, mentally. He's just right at the brink of a mental breakdown, a nervous breakdown. He's 77 years old, and at the rate it's going, it doesn't look good for him. So yeah, that's why everything is getting all mixed up in his brain. He's ready to have a nervous breakdown, y'all. He really is. It, you know, we may never hear about it because they'll put the kibosh on it and they won't tell anybody if something happens to him. But you remember his hand? You saw his hand. It had all these marks all over his hand, and it was his right hand, I believe. And I am seeing him have it looks like a fire poker, you know. It looks like burns on his hands, but I guarantee you Trump has never been near a kitchen in his life. But it looks like burns, but it's not burns. It's so he's holding something long, and it's either a short golf club or a fire poker. I don't know. And he's hitting like furniture, hitting, and he's hitting over and over and over, and it's made all these marks. So just peeled his skin off, basically. So he was probably having a breakdown then. He was probably having a fit because I'm just seeing him hit over and over and over, and it just caused all this breakdown of skin on his hands. So yeah, that's what happened. He was mad and throwing a fit, basically, and he was beating up like furniture, couch, things, hitting over and over and over, but it was slipping a little bit and rubbing on his hand. That's a lot of beat down. That took a lot of force, a lot of energy, a lot of fit. So we're going to see what's happening this evening in New Hampshire, right? I'm seeing some difficulties ahead for Trump with winning the primary, Not that he won't win it, but I feel like there's going to be some people that are going to be turning on him. And it could be some financial backing that also turns on him too. So it makes him harder. It makes it harder for him to, get through the financing and all that for his campaign. But it looks like it's a temporary situation. So he's going to have like a little bit of a hump to get over. But I think in the end, I think that, they're still going to pick Trump. But he is completely delusional, y'all. And, yeah. Even though he'll have it goes up and down. That's what I'm seeing, up and down. So even though he might have a rocky road ahead, he'll still be the nominee. He'll still be it. I don't know what Trump could do for people not to vote for him. It's just crazy. It really is. But right now Trump should be really, really happy because the stock market's doing really, really good. Your 401k is safe and doing well. It's making people richer than ever. Did y'all see that? But you know what the reason for that is? The reason for that is corporate greed. That's why prices are so high right now. And it's not from the pandemic, it's not from supply chain shortages. It's because we're willing to pay the price for them. As long as we're willing to keep paying the price, all these high prices, you know, then the prices will keep going up. They say the prices are never going to go back down. They're never going to go back down. There are, families that have to live all together because they cannot afford housing. My granddaughter is living in an apartment in Austin, a little bitty apartment, and she's paying $1,400 a month for it. I mean, I know y'all already know this, but it's crazy. The prices are just outrageous. I'm sure in Texas they're probably lower than they are in some other states because we're always known to have, you know, a little bit better real estate prices. But for us, they've gone up a lot. But I have been watching the markets. I've been watching the real estate markets because we're going to be selling our house in the spring, hopefully, and moving to a different place close by here. But we're wanting to sell it because we have like 3.5 acres and it's a lot for my husband to take care of. But I'm watching them and I get notifications when the prices go down. I'm looking at new homes and they have been going down. Like I've been getting a notification. This house went down $20,000, and I'm like, keep going down. I don't mind if my house goes down too. That's fine, you know, because I plan on buying a smaller house than what we have here, a little bit smaller anyway, and maybe in a neighborhood, a regular neighborhood. So it probably will be a cheaper house than what this house is, but it'll be a new house. So I won't mind if the price of the house goes down a little bit. I hope it does. So. All right, guys. I don't know how we deal with these high prices other than just not pay for it. Like like for instance, my husband loves this bread, Nature's Own bread. Have y'all tried that? Nature's Own. They have that really thick white bread. They have all multi-grain. They have all different kinds of breads, but they're really good. They're very delicious breads, and my husband loves them. That's his favorite bread. He only wants white bread. He hates wheat or multi-grain or anything. And they cost $3.50 a loaf. Now you're saying, oh, come on, you can afford $3.50 a loaf. I can afford it. I could pay it, but it's so expensive for a loaf of bread. It's ridiculous price. And I just don't even want to buy it anymore. I want to just boycott them and say, that's it. I'm not buying it anymore. It's not good for you anyway because, that white flour, it's just like eating pure sugar. When you eat that just, your body uses it just like it does sugar. So it's not good for you. And he's a diabetic. So I'm like, we're going to save our money and you're not eating that. We're trying to choose healthy foods. So I think that's the only way that we can get the attention of these CEOs is stop buying their goods. Just tell them we're not buying them. What if everybody didn't buy any bread and all the bread had to go back? They had to throw it all out. They would think twice about the prices that they're selling it at, or milk or whatever. Just if we would stop consuming so much and let that demand go down and the prices would go down. Just like the oil companies. The oil companies, we could have really, really cheap oil, but they only, refine so much oil so that they can keep a cap on it and say, well, this is only as much oil as we have available. No, they're only refining so much oil. So they're keeping the prices high, even though they have gone down quite a bit, thank goodness. But they could be a lot less. They could really be a lot less. But hey, if we stop using so much gasoline, they may go down more. Who knows? But as long as we're willing to pay the price, prices will stay up. That's why the interest rates were up so high to stop spending, bring the prices down, because that's how the markets work. So I know like I said, the stock market's doing good, but the CEOs are just getting super rich. The companies are getting super rich. They're not investing them in their employees or sharing them, with giving better salaries to their hourly employees and all that. No, they're just buying back stock. That's all they're doing. So stock market's doing good, and that's why, because we're paying for it. But I'm not an analyst. I don't. Only thing I can think to do in my little old mind is just don't buy it. Just don't buy it. You know, do without it or buy a lot less of it. Try to, um, you know, do without as long as you can. Put it that way. So if there's something you really like, you need it, you want it, just don't buy it as much. Okay, guys, I am going to go now. I've been on here for 35 minutes. Sorry I'm taking so much of your time. There's Addie Cat. Yeah, she's curled up there on the chair. She's asleep. I put her to sleep. Hope I didn't put you guys to sleep. But thank you for staying with me. I appreciate it. If you'd like to get a reading with me, please look down below. I'll leave my email address. Email me. I can do a tarot reading, chakra balancing, energy cleanse, or healing session, or I can do all of them, whichever you need, okay? So let me know. I look forward to hearing from y'all. Love you so much. Have a wonderful day. Do something kind for somebody. It'll always come back to you. Bye for now.